By the way, we
All
Hey,
right. We are live. Welcome, everybody.
hello everybody.
This is our first stream of the year, I believe.
Is it?
Yeah, we were
I
supposed to
think you're right.
stream in New Orleans. We had planned because we
Oh,
were
that's
supposed to
right.
go
That's
to,
right.
and we had some fun places to paint and do things with.
You're
Um,
right.
but unfortunately,
New Orleans didn't happen.
New Orleans, New Orleans,
New Orleans got hit by a pandemic.
yes, yeah,
They
it
got
was.
pandemic.
It like spiked like right
Yeah.
before we were about to go. Um, how have you been since, man?
I've been really good actually. Today, just so everybody knows, we're going to be doing a Book of Boba Fett stuff. Um,
Yes.
so who are you drawing, by the way?
Um, I decided to kind of go with Madame Garza. I
Oh, huh.
you know, a girl with tentacles on her head can't be that bad.
Yeah, yeah. That's a different one.
Yeah.
I don't even know if she has like cards. I only know everything based upon whether or not I've seen a card by them via tops and whatnot. So
Oh,
she's I don't think she's on the. I mean, they probably have one. They have a card for everybody. So who knows?
I'm sure they're coming out.
Oh yeah.
Did they release like a Book of Boba Fett cards?
There's tons of them. Yeah,
Oh
like
yeah.
daily.
Oh
Yeah.
really?
Oh yeah. Like hundreds and hundreds and thousands. And yeah.
And thousands and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, they did cards for the trailer, for crying out loud.
I I,
So
I find that virtual card collecting is very intriguing to me. Like
yeah.
I get the card collecting physically, but I didn't realize like it would sort of take off in that same way.
It's you know what it is? It's the exact
Because
same mentality as an NFT. Um,
but people are paying for it, right? They're like paying to open packs and
oh
stuff like
yeah,
that. Yeah.
oh yeah. There are people that sell their entire collection, so they amass these collections of cards, and then they like physically sell their login credentials. Uh,
Oh wow.
yeah.
Instead of like trading them all or something like that, it's just easier to sell your
Well,
login
it's so
credentials.
you can only so the way that a lot of them work, at least through tops, a lot of them work when that you can trade 9 cards at a time. We're getting way off topic, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Um,
That's true.
like
That's true.
off the rails. But you can only do 9 at a time, and the way that they do it is, if your collection is in the thousands and stuff, it's like, yeah, yeah.
It's
Could
just
you
easier.
imagine trying to trade 9 cards at a time?
Mm.
So they just send the login credentials, and you can basically just pull out the collection into your own.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, people spend a lot of money on it though.
Yeah, people spend a lot of money on everything. William Clark. Morning, guys. Some
Hey, how are you?
poly bean bags.
You're so far ahead, and I'm literally looking up reference still, trying to figure out like who am I drawing? What am I drawing? I'm in that. I'm kind of in a weird haze. Um, I'm not, but I am. So yeah, one of the thing that we're talking about today,
Yes.
is all the things essentially,
Yeah.
um, all the
We,
stuff that we basically use on a daily basis, um,
I
or at
was, yeah,
conventions,
yeah.
or yeah,
I was gonna kind of use that phrase, like all the things, but when I started putting it down and putting like the marketing thing to it, I'm like, people are not like on its own. Big people aren't gonna know
yeah,
like as a title for YouTube, like all the things.
yeah,
Like, what is this about? I don't know. What should I
yeah.
click on it?
Oh, I know it could be
Yeah,
literally anything. Yeah.
yeah, literally anything. So I
So
figured it
what?
had to be a
But what we're
little more
referring to is,
specific.
like, our tools, the things people always ask us about whenever we're
Yeah,
drawing,
yeah,
or painting. Anytime we're live, they're like, "Ooh, what is that?" And they'll point at the thing that we're using at the time.
yeah.
So yeah,
It's
um,
every show that we go to. Um,
literally,
pe- people is like we're painting at the table, and people get to watch us as we create things, and they'll ask questions about the pencil, and they're like, well, it's a pencil. Like, yeah, but is there any special type of pencil? What's your favorite pencil? Like, it's just a pencil, really. It's just a regular HB pencil. Um,
yeah.
but
It's funny that that's a thing that people are really concerned about.
yeah,
In the grand scheme of things, tools don't really matter all that much, and I'll be the first person to say that.
yes, yes.
Paper, I think, is a different story because of just the nature of watercolor.
Yeah, there's a few
Um,
things that matter, but not to the extent that you need like the most expensive or you need to have the best. There's
yeah,
a threshold of like um, really mediocre tools that you should probably elevate yourself above if you decide that you want to start making, doing something more than just like, you know, introductory creativity. Um, but once you hit that medium tier threshold, that's pretty good for most things,
yeah,
right? You don't want the cheapest paper, you don't want the cheapest brush, you don't want to always have the cheapest paint, but you don't need the most expensive stuff out there either.
very true, very true.
And
Um, but there are things that over the years we've cultivated that we like,
yeah,
that we have gravitated towards, that are the things that, um, we've experimented with all the things that we didn't like, and we've gone through things that we liked for a while, and then,
mm-hmm.
hey, we found this even cooler thing that we use now. So this list that we've kind of cultivated and put together, um, we're going to be putting up access to, so that you can actually
Yeah,
download or purchase any of the stuff that we use. Um, Pretty much everything is available online.
mm-hmm.
Or at physical stores too. I encourage everybody, by the way, to shop around at mom and pop shops or local places for some of these things. I always try and support local. Unfortunately, all of the really cool art supply stores here in town have all dried up. They all closed down due to COVID and everything else. So I pretty much have to order everything online these days.
yeah. Um, there's one or two that I drop by once in a while, but
If I'm in certain areas, like, for instance, there's a really good one in North Carolina that I go to, Jerry's.
oh
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's a great one. So anytime we do the Heroes Convention, that's always a go-to. Um,
When I'm in
Other places, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say when I'm in Seattle, I actually there's a Daniel Smith art store. Even though
Yep.
no, no, yeah, is it Daniel Smith? Yeah, it's a Daniel Smith art store. Um,
Yeah. Do you
out
use a
there.
lot of Daniel Smith these days?
I do not. I have like one or two colors
Is it
that
Moonglow?
no, it's the single pigment quinacridone gold.
Oh yeah, that one actually is really nice. It's one of the few that I'm like, okay, that's a really good color.
But no
They
one
don't
makes
make that one anymore though.
they do not. I'm hoarding like
Yeah.
I think I have two unused tubes left. I have one like you know, one third done, 2/3 done. But
Yeah, they stopped using.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Daniel Smith, quinacridone gold. That is one I know I have. That's Daniel Smith, and I want to say there's like another color, but I don't another color or two. I don't remember off the top of my head.
yeah.
Um,
I don't really use any Daniel Smith. I'm pretty
yeah,
much all Graham.
yeah,
I've
yeah. That's the remainder of that's the default that I have,
yeah.
unless there's like a very particular color um, that I'm going for. Matt Holloway says, "Hi, glad to catch you guys live. I love product lists. I often go to Amazon to shop for goodies. And so if you'd like to support this channel and these artists, yeah, there is the link in the description right now. You can see um, the
And we will walk through those actually.
We will see the you'll see the Excel. It's an Excel Google sheet. But also there is also an Amazon store that you can go to that has everything as well. And as we kind of go through, various shows in the future, anything that we mention or have, we'll definitely put on there and provide. And not everything is off of Amazon. Another alternative is Jet Pens, which has a lot of more unique illustration tools and things like that.
Yeah, we'll walk through a few different ones. There's also Dick Blick. There's
Yeah.
Jerry's, as I mentioned earlier. There's a few out there. I also am even going to mention a few that I tend to go to for some more obscure things like
Oh yeah, we have an Etsy
um,
one on here.
yeah, Etsy, Craigslist. Like for certain things, sometimes stuff like that is actually the best way to go. There are also artists that actually make some of the supplies um, that we will probably talk about in the next episode, which is going to be more obscure, sort of alternative art supplies. Um, but
Hmm.
yeah, there's all sorts of places out there that you might not think about that aren't some that aren't even online. Um, I encourage you to look around at locally as much as possible.
Yes. But sometimes I know that we can't. Uh, Vornago. Thanks, Baze. I have no idea what you just said. D Smith was my go-to for a while, but M Graham is so much nicer to work with. Only go to D Smith, Daniel Smith for specific colors right now. Yeah, exactly. Um, Daniel Smith just
And I,
has every single
yeah,
possible color and every variation.
they do, but my criticism is that Daniel Smiths are all combos of colors. So
Yes.
essentially, they're combining things that already exist.
Mm-hmm.
They just make it easier.
Yep.
And I sometimes don't like their results. Like I don't like the combo that they made. Like they
Mm-hmm.
put too much of something sometimes and not enough of another.
No, no, for
I
sure.
like being able to do that myself. So
And one of the challenges is when you're with watercoloring, you end up mixing a lot. Um,
yes.
Multicolored pigments become very touch and go, right? And become harder to control all the time. So,
I'm drawing Finnick Shand,
nice, nice.
one of my absolute,
Make, make,
probably one
make,
of my favorite parts of did you ever watch the animated series?
uh,
Uh,
some of it.
okay.
not,
No, that's okay. The
not.
animated series was the first introduction I had to Finnick.
Uh,
She was this assassin that appeared in the animated shows, and I just thought she was awesome. Whenever she first started
mhm.
like showing up, uh, I mean, she always just had her visor, so you never really, her helmet visor thing, so
Yeah,
you never really saw her face.
I never knew that she
Um,
was Ming Na Wen.
well, it was animated, so she definitely was not Ming Na Wen. Uh, But yeah, I'm totally digging the show now.
Am I painting She-Ra? No, I am not. This
Yeah.
this is
Yes.
Madame Garza from
Princess of Power.
once they get the tentacle heads thing in, and we'll be able to see. Let's see. We'll do that. Have you been able to watch some of the Book of
Book of
Boba?
Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have. I've watched all of it. So I have very mixed feelings about it, to be honest. I like it. Um, I almost wish it was called Old Man Boba Fett,
Yeah, yeah. like Old Man Logan.
like like Old Man Logan, just because it definitely has this like kind of it's like as awesome as he is, I feel like he's slightly past the age of somebody I would want to see doing this role.
Right?
And I know
So,
that's a horrible thing to say because like I really think that he's amazing, and
right,
Tamara, like seriously, I'm loving what he's doing. And he still is a BA, but
right,
there's definitely points where it's just like, yeah, like I'm not gonna see like a sexy role. Like there's not gonna be a point of romance
right.
coming in this. And there are certain moments where I'm just like, this comes off a little strange, and it's not really the Boba Fett that I had in my mind from the first trilogy. And
Hmm. No, for
um,
sure.
so there are moments where I'm like, yeah, I kind of wish they rebranded this a little bit. Like he doesn't seem to be the Boba Fett crawling out of the Sarlacc pit.
Right,
Um, like I love that scene. That was one of the greatest. Like it's the scene everyone wanted to see.
right.
Um,
How the hell did you get out?
well, also, I don't know if you ever see Parks and Rec?
Some of it. I never watched the whole thing. Like I've
So
seen
there's
episodes
a
alone.
scene in Parks and Rec
Uh-huh.
where what's his face filibusters, and his filibuster is the exact scene of Boba Fett escaping the Sarlacc pit. He basically goes through and explains how everything would happen, and this happened, by the way, years ago, before this ever came out. And it was hilarious because it's like almost word for word. Somebody even on the internet literally did his filibuster side by side
Oh
with
yeah.
everything that was happening, and it was like surreal. It was like he should have been paid for that because it was essentially what happened.
uh, Fennec Shan getting photo op with Ming Na Wen at Philly Fan Expo. Oh yeah, is that?
Oh, very cool.
I was thinking about trying to debate. I was thinking about going to Philly Fan Expo, but wasn't sure yet.
You were?
Yeah, just because it's happening in the spring, and then I got nothing really going on, and so I was like,
Yeah.
But the week right after, I'm going into a studio um,
Mm,
to film art classes for the internet.
gotcha.
So So we are going to kind of get the initial, I guess, get the initial washes down, and then we'll start talking about all
Yeah,
our fun tools
exactly.
and things
Um,
like that.
yeah, I'm gonna keep us honest on time too.
And if anyone has any questions, feel free to just drop them in the chat and everything else. Um,
trying to
we
get her helmet.
and one of the things that we're going to be doing is that we've uh, set aside. Um, we're going to try to keep it close to this time and have lunch with all of you on Thursdays, right? That was the goal for the foreseeable
That is the
future.
goal. Yep.
So so Thursdays around lunchtime is what we're aiming for the foreseeable future, and we are solidifying some guests.
Mm-hmm.
We are planning to do a guest artist that will draw and paint with us. So you'll see three people on here, uh, and that will
Friends of
be
ours that we
yeah
have drawn with before, and they actually, at least the initial initial ones that we've talked about.
yeah.
Um,
Um, you know, and as those get better, we'll branch out and ask the people, you know, that we don't have an immediate connection with, and see
we
what we
have a
can do.
list of a hit list of people that we would love
Yeah,
to hang out with and chat and draw with. Some of which are that we know we just haven't ever drawn with them before live.
yeah,
Not a lot of people. A lot. It's not for everybody. Is the thing. People don't realize that a lot of people don't really like doing this
oh
live.
yeah,
A lot of artists, in particular, are kind
yeah,
of. I mean, I'm not going to say they're shut-ins, but they're kind of shut-ins, um, which is totally okay.
yeah.
And you never really know which ones are and aren't.
Mhm.
So yeah.
There are some that are just like, yeah, I am not social enough
Yep.
to draw and uh, and talk, and I don't have any crazy stories or anything else like that. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to put you on
There's
the
some that
spot,
are like,
but
yeah. It's like
you
cool
know,
story, bro. Not for me.
yeah, like, and they're probably fine, you know, if we were just to draw with them and enjoy the silence kind of a thing, but
Yeah. Very Depeche Mode. So how was your week or two? I haven't. I mean, we've chatted a little bit, but
yeah.
things going well.
Um, yeah, I think things have been proceeding. It's one of those things where I feel like I'm busy,
Yeah.
but my
You feel like
production.
you're not busy? Is that what you
No,
said?
no, no, no. I feel like I'm staying busy, but the
Yeah.
actual production of my work is just not. Um, it just doesn't feel like I've accomplished enough as I wanted to. It's
Yeah.
like I've been painting and I've been doing stuff and I've been sitting here and I've been prepping courses and doing outlines and having some really good meetings with people, um,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Uh,
Horses.
I have some projects that are probably coming further on, a few months away, and so on that level
Yeah.
of prepping things in the future, I think I've been slightly successful. But
Yeah.
as far as getting
I
the
know that.
art that I need now,
I know how that is, man.
yeah,
It's
right.
hard.
It is
I've been
sometimes.
I've been unusually very, very busy. Like I'm usually not nearly as busy as I have been. Um,
Yeah,
I kind of took on a lot of stuff that you know about,
yeah,
and then I had some commissions on my list as well. I'm working on one project that like I absolutely love that I'm kind of really excited about, and I would love to be able to chat about it, but I can't. At least I don't think I can. I should probably ask if I can.
hmm
Um, and then what else? And then I have some commissions that are wrapping up. Yeah, odds and ends. Lots of commissions that are actually like basically in the final stages. Um, Many that are done. I have some stuff I have to mail. Got a bunch of online orders that came in recently that were nice little bumps. Oh, I had a wonderful credit card hack.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was like I was like, wow, it's like they knew exactly when I had plenty of money in my account to do this. Um, yeah, that was it's technically it's still ongoing, like getting it all worked out and yeah, annoying. And then yeah, kids and soccer, lots of fun stuff. Matt asks, "Is one of them Kit Steele?" No. Dan, your camera is super blurry. You know what? I see that too. That's weird.
Yeah, I'm allocating as much bandwidth as I can to you right now.
I don't know why I'm blurry. I keep thinking maybe it's the here. Cleaned off my camera. Let's see if that fixes things. No, I'm
It's a
just coming
little.
in blurry.
I mean, one of the things that pretty much all video, streaming video, no matter where you are, um,
Yeah.
what platform is generally 720p that comes in, and so
Let's see if
right now I am streaming out at 4K, so that might have something to do with it because there's a little
that might be it.
upscaling, um, but yeah, I am allocating 4,000 kilobits per second to you, max. Like frame
Yeah, I'm
disconnect.
looking at my pen that's on the paper, and it seems
Yeah.
everything's chunky. Weird.
I mean, let's see here.
I do not know. Yours is really crisp. We were having the exact
Yeah.
same opposite issue though when we were on Instagram the other day.
Yeah. Let's see. Cut. Let's see here. I mean, this is a slightly different layout, but this gives. Let me
That
know if
one
this is a little
seems.
better.
Yeah, that one is better.
So I'm not zooming in anymore to you, but
Uh, Interesting. So
so this
maybe
is
it's the zoom that's doing it.
this is your raw feed at the
Yeah.
moment. So Instagram likes Dan and YouTube likes Tony.
Yeah. Let me
um,
do this. Let me come in tighter like I would usually do. And we should probably stop and talk about all the things.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. I put a wash down so I can wait for it to dry a little bit.
yeah.
Give me a second here.
Yeah, you should probably go to the 2 split
Yeah.
just so there's not that big blank in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's a bandwidth thing.
Yeah, it might be a. I don't recall yours being that fuzzy before.
I don't either. This is definitely different.
Yeah.
All right. Anywho,
Well,
no,
the
no one
show
wants
must.
this immortalized.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
The show must go on, as they
So
say.
what we have are all the things, and we're gonna go down a list of all the things.
Yes. So the
I
first
have it
thing,
up.
yeah, the first thing on our list. You have your pocket brush handy.
I do. All of the pocket brush. Which one should I bring up? I'm gonna start off with the case, just because
Ah,
it's actually in the case. So one of the things we have on the list is this handy dandy roll case for pins.
yes.
Snaps, wraps, canvas. On top of that, it's got these little foldovers to keep your pens and pencils protected.
Mm-hmm.
Holds 36, I believe, but I always double up on the pencils in particular, like that.
Right.
So it'll actually hold a lot more. It also has a little zip area at the very back that you can put in erasers, pencil sharpeners. I even have my card reader in here. All sorts of different things.
Mm-hmm.
Ink cartridges for various pens. It's kind of my go-to, and it costs like $16. And the link is available on the site, and
Yeah.
it's why Speedball makes it.
Yeah.
I think it comes in different colors as well.
One of the things about those rolls that's really great for traveling. I have one. Mine's a different. Mine's for brushes. Um,
Yep.
and it's this one is super old, but you can find these rolls. Is the fact that they can roll into your backpack or your luggage as tight as you need
Exactly.
to, so you don't
Yeah.
really, so
It fits in a small compartment.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's good for spacing. Like you
Mhm.
always have like these weird voids in your luggage when you're packing,
Mhm.
and this stuff is perfect for it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can fold it up a little flatter, a little more rounder, whatever works. And so having that little bit of flexibility, we think always helps. So the rolls for your cases are also good. I found something else. Speaking of containers for that stuff, and then we'll hit yours real quickly.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I've so
Why don't you
this,
take over the screen, actually?
sure. I can zoom in a little. I can pull this in, and then I'll. Oops. There you go. Let me flip that around. There you go. Let me get the light on here a little bit brighter. There it is. So this is my new fun pencil pack. It is great. I enjoy this because when I'm at a show or if I'm at a coffee shop or whatever else, it sits up, roll it back, and it seems like a regular pencil case, but you can pull it out and it'll sit there, and your pencils will be folding out towards you, so you can kind of see everything, so you don't have to kind of like look, and it's not hidden into your backpack, into your pencil case. So you easily pull it out, and it's all, stand up. It doesn't take too much. It takes up vertical room, so you can just leave it out. And it has a little spot for my eraser, a little spot for my extra ink canisters and things like that. And it's magnetic, and so it's great. So yeah, this is my new latest little fun convention travel pencil kit. Yeah, and I can put in it has some nice little pockets on the side for business cards too that I don't want to lose. So yeah. Yeah, if the important ones, you're important to me if I put you in my pencil, if I put it in my pencil
Yep.
case. If I put it in my pocket, I never know where it's gonna go.
Yeah, it turns into a ransom. It's just all smushed up.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Next was
Oh, okay.
the Pentel brush.
All right. Switch me over to the full.
Switch you over to the
And
full. I can't switch you over to the full because
oh,
unless
you
you're
can't.
going. Um,
Okay.
your full looks like this. Like that's all I'm
Oh,
getting
I
from
see. I see.
because you would have to switch to a webcam.
Oh, I got it. Okay. So this is let's see here. Let's go down the list. Pentel Pocket Brush. This is kind of like my go-to. I actually have like five of these, and they have collector's edition. Tony, you're getting one of these, by the way. That's coming soon. I already, yeah, it should be there soon.
Aww.
So the collector's editions are a little bit different, but they usually are just, plain black bodies. This one's a wooden body, and it's got the nice thing about it is they are incredibly stiff. So they actually have like a really nice stiff bristle. You can get incredibly fine lines, and then you can easily switch to something thick. Everything's super, it flows really well. You don't get a lot of feathering. It's a nice pen. I buy these in bulk. Well, by bulk, I mean I have like 4 or 5 of them because I actually like it when they start to lose their ink. The cartridges are really easy to load. It's another nice thing. Just unscrew the body. The cartridge pulls right out, and then you put another one in. That's it.
So
And
you,
the cartridges are also listed as well. The ones that come with this particular pen are actually waterproof. This does have a waterproof black India ink, and it's a nice black. There is another one. There are a bunch of others that are out there, and the thing you really got to worry about is that they don't tend to come with waterproof ink.
yes.
Like the other Pentel brush, we're just going down the list.
So
Would be the art brush.
one of the things
Go
that
ahead.
you mentioned was you said it was a stiffer brush tip versus a
Yes.
softer. Why is that important?
So certain brushes have a lot more play than others. This particular one, the Pentel has a stiffer tip so that you can get much more control.
Mhm.
It's going to behave almost like a pen or a pencil.
Yeah.
It's not going to, like, you can get really, really nice straight lines with this. You
Right.
don't have as much play in the tip in that when you have a paintbrush, it kind of like moves around as you roll down the page.
Yeah.
There are others that are out there, especially the natural fiber ones that we do have listed here, and those have a lot more play.
Yeah.
Those will wiggle all over the place.
Generally, it takes a little time to figure out how to control.
Yeah.
If you're not used to controlling the pressure of your touch, the softer brushes, while they are nice to have a wide variety of line weights, are also take a little bit longer to get used to. So
Exactly.
yeah. But yeah. Go on. You were going to talk about the next brush.
Yeah, the other one is the art brush. This is another one, and this is the favorite of Kim Jong-gi. So if you watch the master paint or do his ink pieces, this is basically his weapon of choice. The nice thing about these art brushes is that they come in a variety of colors. You can get tons of different colors. You'll see him a lot of times working with the red and the black one, or he'll work with the like a green and black. He plays around with those a lot. The one catch is there is multiple models of this, and the very first one, the one that you can pretty much buy in Michael's or anywhere like that, doesn't actually come with waterproof ink. So you do need to get the gray bodies. The gray bodies tend to have the waterproof version of the ink, and the way that those the link that we sent you, I believe, or that we put in here is for the waterproof stuff. So make sure you buy that.
Yeah. So one of the things that you'll like, I don't think we use the Amazon link to a similar looking refill. because the Amazon
I
one,
don't think so. Yeah.
if you look at, I checked it up, and if you look at the actual ink, um, uh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
serial number, it's not waterproof.
Yeah.
So the
This.
one that we
So
linked in there is waterproof.
this is bad. This is good.
Yes. Yes.
um, the good stuff will look like this when it arrives. It will literally be in a
So
unreadable package unless
yeah.
you really speak.
So see how it says XFRP-A. There's another one that looks exactly the same in a very similar package, except it is XFR, I don't know, BW or something like that. But that one
Yeah.
is not waterproof. So it's the permanent, it's the P, is what you're looking at there, and that comes from a few have failed attempts from us to realize like, oh, there's a difference.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Yeah.
So the other things, the bodies screw on backwards. So one of the things that always throws me off when I have pins from Japan, you know how there's righty tighty, lefty loosey? It's the exact opposite when you get pins from Japan. Um, Anything that comes from over there is the opposite of screwing. So to unscrew it, you actually turn it right to unscrew it,
Oh, really?
which makes no sense. Yeah.
Righty loosey, lefty tighty.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what? So just to note that this bristle is another one that's stiff, but it's a longer bristle, so it actually has more play. And it's definitely, as I said, the weapon of choice for Kim Jong Il. He pretty much, you'll always see him have like 20 of these out because the other nice feature is you squeeze the body and it actually will squeeze ink out the tip.
Yeah.
So the bodies are all squishy. Um, and yeah,
Well,
you can increase the flow pretty easily with them, which is nice. Not none of the others that are out there really do that. The art brush is the only one that I know of that actually has that flexibility. Kuretake zigs do that as well, but they just kind of mimic that thing.
Yeah, I have a Kuretake brush pen, and one of the nice things with pens that have a longer brush tip is that you can use the side of it, right? And you can use the side of it to get some interesting textures, versus the ones with a more controlled brush tip that might be smaller. You're looking at actually doing line work with.
Kuritakes actually aren't that long either.
Yeah.
Their brush tips are not nearly as long as the art brush. The art brush is like twice as long as the Kuritakes.
Yeah.
The art brush is actually crazy long. It's the longest one that the Bimoji is the other one that's made by Kuretake that's pretty close to that. That one's also got some length to it. This is what the Bimojis look like, and this is actually a disposable brush pen that's specifically designed for manga artists. Kuretake started making this I want to say like 5 years ago, and they are kind of the go-to for a lot of manga illustrators. They have 3 different styles. They have a sponge tip brush pen. They have the bristle brush pen, which is this one, and then they have a fine tip, what they call a brush pen, but it's really just like a plastic tip.
Yeah.
And all of them are really, I mean, they are all nice. I highly recommend the bristle one. It's like $3, I think. And they last a long time. I've done entire projects, like an entire comic with one of them.
There are some other similar ones by the Kuretake Zig. This is another one of their Zigs where this model is interesting because you buy the container for your pen separately from the actual ink, and so you can take the container and put whatever refill you want in them, and then there's different, and it'll snap shut and do whatever you need to do with that. So but these are another one.
The other let's see, what else did we talk about?
Next
Yeah,
on
but I
the
mean,
list.
there's a ton of brush pens. I highly recommend. Most of the links that we put for the pens in particular are on jetpens.com.
Mhm.
I highly recommend looking and exploring their brush pens and their pen sets that they have, and they also have sampler packs that you can buy that are really nice.
The sampler
Um,
packs are really nice that JetPens puts out.
yeah, I mean, they're top notch. You get a lot for your
Yeah,
money.
yeah.
Um,
It's not just like
and
one nice pen and five shitty ones that you won't use for.
exactly, you'll probably use all of them in some way.
Yeah.
And their customer service is also top notch. I can't talk about JetPens enough without
Hmm.
like open an account, you'll start spending money there. I
Yeah.
guarantee it.
Yeah.
Um, Platinum is another one that I love. I don't have this on the
Ah.
list because I ended up buying this in a store and I can't even find these too much. But they are another natural fiber brush, but they
Mm.
have a longer tip than most of the other natural fibers.
Oh, nice.
Um, yeah, they're kind of nice. The only negative that I have is that it's so much play in the tip.
Yeah.
Um, like they wiggle all over the place, so you really have to be,
Controlled,
if you're used to using something like
like a brush.
in traditional media, like a liner brush, it has
Yeah.
like a really long bristle.
Yes. Yes.
That's the feel that it has,
Mm.
which is both a negative and a positive. It really just depends upon whether or not you need it for that particular task.
Yeah.
Other pins, just to keep us moving, that we swear by, microns. Everyone uses them. They're cheap, they're disposable, and they're archival. They come in a variety of colors. This is like what the standard ones pretty much
Yeah.
look like.
I have
But
a
Tony
blue
was
one.
super nice and bought me the really nice collector's edition, the limited edition black bodies,
Yeah.
that are all sexy, and
Yeah,
I,
black
I,
and
I almost
gold.
don't I almost don't want to use them. Um, the
and
only
and
note that I would say about microns, if you ever buy one and the back piece right here, if
pops.
there's like a little, if that back piece has like a little notch on it, and you can see where it's not flush up against here, don't buy it. Like if you see it in a store and it has that, don't buy it. It means that air has been getting into it and it's probably a completely dry pin. Like you won't even know it until you actually start using it. So make sure that when you buy them, the back is flush up against. But these are great pens. They're archival. They when they run out, they just die. They don't have like a sputtering effect or anything. They just stop working. So it's one of those, you can't really get that nice little bristly effect. They do have a brush version that's terrible. Um, and
Yeah, the brush
they
version
have
isn't is kind of tough to control.
well,
It's
it's like
like
a
this.
felt tip. It's not
Yeah,
really a
it's not really a
brush. It's
brush.
super stiff. Yeah. It also frays at the end pretty easily, so I don't recommend it.
Yeah, I just have
Um,
bad memories and realizing that yeah, I don't have to buy a brush tip
exactly.
micron ever again.
You can also buy microns in mini sets or bulk sets where they skip
Sizes.
sizes. So all the sizes are listed. This is an O3. They go everywhere up to I think a 5. Um, I think 5 is the thickest line that they do,
Yeah,
and that's almost
point
like a
point five.
chisel
No,
tip.
they have a point eight. I think. I think.
Oh no, no, no! I'm not talking about a point. I mean literally, it's a
Oh,
5.
oh, it's a
Um,
five. Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah. They
I don't
have
think I'd
they
see
have
that.
a point. They have a point 12, which is like the
What?
tiniest. Yeah,
Well, the set I gave you has a whole wide variety of
yeah. Like
sizes.
this one, oh, 12 is the thickest.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
So 12 is like basically like a marker.
It's like a Sharpie.
Yeah, essentially. But they go all the way down to an 005, which is like, I mean, you can't even see that line. Yeah,
That's cursed
yeah,
pirate
I know
girl.
exactly. Yeah,
Who
that's a Jeremy I call that the
Jared,
Jeremy
yeah.
Bastion.
If we'll do a quick shout out if you want to look up
Yeah.
someone who uses microns amazing or not even he doesn't use microns but he uses like very thin ink work. Check out Jeremy Bastion, Bastion, and his Cursed Pirate Girl series. And the amount of like the .005, sometimes he says, yeah, that's a little bit too large for me. I'm like,
Yeah.
you're
And it's IAN. Yeah.
IAN. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
No, but he has yeah, he I've watched him do entire illustrations with like, the tiniest marker I've
yeah,
ever seen.
yeah.
So moving on, because we have less than 20 minutes.
Oh yeah,
White pens. Uniball Signo is the one that Tony and I both swear by. This is the thickest, darkest,
yeah. Hmm.
or thickest, most opaque pen you can get. It will literally go right over black,
Yep.
and it just, I mean, I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, it just replaced black.
Yeah.
So
It'll
it's
cut
kind
right
of the
through.
go-to. The only catch about it is if you ever have watercolor in particular, which I use with it a lot, it will take up watercolor. So
Mm.
you need to worry about that. It'll actually kind of blend with the watercolor, which is nice if you want that effect.
Right.
So you have to, occasionally, if you're doing something over a medium that'll lift, just make sure when you put it on, you kind of scribble off to the side and then do it again.
Yeah.
It's the only way that you're going to keep the white actually white.
Yeah. So
It also works with water, so you can
yeah.
blend everything out with water.
Yeah. It's great for like, let's say you have a street scene and you have like a shiny little hazy light in the background kind of a thing. Like you can
No,
do the
that's your
uniballs.
bright hit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can pop this on a wet while it's wet and it'll bleed and then wait for that to dry, then come back in and reinforce that white. If you really want it to cut through, do it while everything is dry. But painting over it is also, I don't think it resists a little bit, doesn't it? Once it's dry.
uh, not really.
No,
Um, Not really. You
I
can
can't remember.
you can put the finest of washes or an airbrush effect on it, and that would
Ah,
work.
okay.
That's the only way it will actually just sit on the surface.
Yeah.
Um, Other white pens, I've just started using the Zig white, which
Mm-hmm.
is another one that you squish the body to make it squirt out essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So you squeeze it and come on, there it goes. Um, it it has a nice fade effect where you can put it on heavy. Let's see if I can get a heavy. So there's a heavy bit, and then you can fade it out. It I like it. It's not as opaque as the Signo. I don't think I've ever found anything that is opaque as the Signo. And
Yeah.
it again is a little bit like white gouache,
Yeah.
where you can kind of feather it out and add water and do all sorts of
Yeah.
effects with water.
Other than like an
Um,
acrylic white, Signo
yeah,
is up there.
yeah.
Um,
Uh,
the other white thing that I
Tony, you
use,
use charcoal white
I
pencils. I
I
use white pencils,
yeah,
just pencil crayons,
yeah.
and
So
Conti as well.
mhm. For me lately, I've been experimenting with this charcoal white. I like seeing, whereas the Uniball Signos will give a solid white line. You can get some textures, a little bit more touch with these General's charcoal white pencils, and I think they're really standard, really great, and you can just kind of cut your way through some black areas and things like that. The other thing that I found on that I'm going to kind of point to while we're talking about these pencils is this Tagal pencil sharpener. Um,
Mm.
One, it's pretty easily portable. It fits in my pencil case. But you get to choose the angle. You get to rotate this, and you can get a longer. So you can aim for like a longer um, tip of lead, right?
Yep,
Hold on, let me switch back. Here we go. Uh,
there you go.
so you got this is what it looks like, and so you can just play with
Oh,
the.
that's cool.
So you have some tips that are really really short, and some tips where you
That
want
are
the legs
snub.
that
Yeah.
yeah snubs and right, and they can be much longer. So you can choose what works, and this works really well with some of our um, uh, when you have different types of
leads.
leads and watercolor pencils, some that are woodless, some that are not, and you want to
Yeah.
actually um, have some choice on how you want to shape that end. So, I,
So one bringing up, I guess one of the things that I don't did we even list? We didn't list watercolor pencils here.
no, that's for next week.
Um,
So this is like
yeah,
kind of
next
like
week
part
we'll.
one.
Yeah, exactly. Next week we'll go into watercolor pencils, which are some of these that I have here,
Mm-hmm.
and there's some others that we experimented with a bunch of them, and we can pretty much tell you the best ones and the ones that have issues. Um, the moving through the list that we currently have up, though, we also have storage cases. We talked about the this canvas bag. You talked about your stand-up bag.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I don't have handy is our koala bags.
Oh, I
Um,
can.
do you have one?
Yeah,
Uh,
give me 30 seconds. Take over the mic.
oh yeah, yeah. So koala bags are a nice, handy little thing that lets you basically be hands-free. But you can actually use it as a pen carrier at conventions. It has secret compartments for cash. So if you're taking cash, you can just slide it into the secret compartment and you don't have to worry about messing around with it until later in the day or when you actually have free time if you have a lot of people at your table. The
So
koala
here it
bags
is.
are attached to your belt and your leg, and they're snub against your leg, but it's sort of like a satchel. A lot of people say man purse, whatever it is. It's super handy and they're super stylish too. They come in. I mean, you can have some with spikes. You can have there are tons of them out there, and they're actually pretty affordable. The ones that you can find online are incredibly inexpensive. Um, so yeah, I highly recommend koala bags. They're kind of nice. I tend to use them only at conventions, or if I'm going to a coffee shop. It's nice to kind of put one of those on and just not have to worry about digging into a bag or doing anything like that. Especially if it's at a shop where I can't really sit, I have to stand at like a kind of a tall table or something. Those are great. So yep,
Yeah.
and then they hook on pretty well. They're pretty easy to kind of maintain. The other trick that Tony and I have figured out is that it actually gets you an extra bag at the airport because it's attached. So you can kind of rotate it around the back of your leg, and no one
Yeah.
even sees that it's there. So there's all sorts of little things like that. Let's see. Sketchbooks. Let's talk about custom watercolor sketchbooks. Or different ones that are out there. How about you show the two that you have, and then I'll show the one that I kind of swear by now.
Okay. Give me 1 second to readjust my brightness here. The sun all of a sudden like hit this angle that was shining like directly onto my but yes. So this is my sort of general one. It's by Holbein. It's called a multi-drawing book. It's this watercolor multimedia, but it's actually pretty decent for watercolor. I do like the fact that it opens up flat. It sort of has that ring binding, and the rings that they use is not so cheap that they will flatten. Right, when you have this stuff, it's just like, oh, like sometimes you put it in a book bag once or twice and all the rings get deformed and things like that. So I've traveled with this one, and it's been pretty good. And then the other one I enjoy is by B Paper, which I thought I had. Where did I put it? It's a B Paper watercolor book that I unfortunately can't find right now. I thought I had it right up here. I must have moved it at the last minute. So, but Dan,
Cool.
you
So
get some fancy stuff.
I do. So I have tons of sketchbooks. I probably have like 1,000 of them. I even have them custom made from friends that are bookbinders. This one is probably the best one I've ever had made. This is by Lake Michigan Press, which the link will take you to an Etsy shop that she has. Um, she's amazing. I highly recommend sending her a note. She'll respond super fast, and she'll work with you on whatever you're after. Um, she will literally take really nice Arches 240-pound watercolor paper. This is heavier than the stuff that we typically have in our Arches watercolor blocks. Um, like it's really nice and stiff. Hot press, cold press. She also uses Fabriano. Basically, you choose the paper. It determines the price, the size, everything else, and then she custom makes you an art book that's hand bound, hardcover, alligator skin. It's a textured paper. It's not a actual alligator skin, but it has like a really nice finish. She seals everything. I can't say enough good things about it. The paper quality is unbelievable. It's deckled edges. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, that looks super.
She'll even up the signature count. There's a section you can buy everything. I will say that this is probably the priciest handmade book I've had. When
What's
you get something this large,
what's the approximate
when
price
you
point
get
of that?
something this large with this many pages, this one has I think it's like 80 pages or something. This one is $100. So this is a really nice sketchbook. Uh, a lot of people will say, "Oh, well,
I mean,
what kind of sketchbook should I get for commissions?" Get one of these made. This one will take all media, front and back of the paper. Like you can literally paint on this side and on the next side,
I mean, if
and
you
it
think
will. This is top notch. Yeah,
if you think
this
about
is
it,
heirloom.
if you think about it, uh, and a watercolor block of arches can cost you anywhere
Yeah,
from $40 to $60,
exactly.
right? And
And
you're
this is
getting
and that's only
80
20
pages.
sheets.
Yeah, that's only
That's only
20
20
sheets.
sheets.
This is
This is
80
three times the
pages.
size. Yeah.
80 pages for a hundred
Yeah.
dollars per page.
You can't beat that. Yeah.
That's not that's pretty good.
She also makes oh, let me grab it. She also makes mini versions. So this is a mini canvas square that I had her make me. Um, and it's, same material, same everything, and this one was, I think it was like $40. And it has a ton of pages in it, way more than an art book or than a watercolor block would have.
Yeah.
This is just to show you how thick it is as I hold up the watercolor block next to it. Um, it's four
Yeah.
times the size.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend them. If you want a really nice, top quality, something that you'll use over and over, and it will take all your media, whatever type you really want. This is the way to go.
Yeah, I always thought you had some special person that you've been keeping
I do.
off to the
I
side
do.
to figure this out. I didn't
I
realize
do.
there was an Etsy
Yeah.
shop that you can
I
just go
have
to.
a local.
So I'm gonna have
I
to
have
get
a
in on
local. Yeah. I have a local friend that makes my own personal sketchbooks that unfortunately she just had a baby, so she's not really making a whole lot of books now. I tried to get her to make me a new one. I planned on making that into Christmas gifts for people. But unfortunately, she's not really doing that at the moment. But she actually makes wood. The covers are made out of like actual wood that she stains and does all the sanding on and everything else. She makes like really nice books
this. Whoa.
that are wood bound. And yeah, it's pretty much the best of the best on top of this stuff. So, so moving along, because we're really getting close to the time.
Yeah. We got the sketchbooks. We got
So
calligraphy brushes and palettes.
yes, illustration and painting. Watercolor palette, Miejo. I have mine here. So this is Tony and I's studio palette essentially. It folds It's nice. Miejo makes it. You fill it yourself, but it's like a carbon. But it's super durable. I mean, I travel. Mine has some wear on it because it gets used all the time and everywhere.
Yeah.
Um, if you have a um, uh, like a plein air, any sort of a
Travel
setup
kit.
yeah, travel or tripod sort of easel, this thing sits right on top of it perfectly. Um, I love it because it has really deep wells. Most of the others are pretty shallow, and these actually have like some really deep wells. And yeah, the mixing panels are.
Yeah. I have yeah, I have a different I have one of their newer variations. This one's airtight, so it's an airtight double decker Mihalo. And one of the things about them is that uh oh shoot, now stuck in there. But this it's a double decker. So you can pull this off to the side whenever you need to. You have extra mixing room over here if you want. When you can close it up, you can just so this way, when you have it closed, uh, you can kind of keep it leveled so it can sort of dry out and the paints won't fall into each other. But this one has a nice little gasket around the edges um, to keep it kind of airtight, and so that makes it a little bit nicer. And they're like Dan said, super durable. Easily cleanable and everything else like that.
Um, Brushes. The ones that I'm kind of swearing by these days are these. I have a set of these transom brushes. I can't seem to find a link to them right now, but I
We'll
will
find
hunt it
it.
down.
Yeah, we'll find it and put it
Yeah,
up there for you guys.
these are the craziest, cheapest brushes that they're basically disposable because they cost $7 and you get like 15 brushes. Um, I'm pretty sure they're synthetic, but they are some of the best quality synthetic brushes I've ever used. So if you want something cheap and dirty, that's the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the brushes that I swear by, Tony got me into,
Yeah.
which are these guys. These are Chinese calligraphy brushes of various makes, and they all come in different. I mean, everything from like squirrel to wolf to camel, like you name it, the hairs are probably different. They usually have two cores. There's something in the middle that's
Yeah.
usually finer than what's on the outside, which is usually a rougher
It's
hair.
yeah, it's like goat and rabbit and camel and
Yeah,
I don't know
and you
what
never know.
else. You never
Yeah,
know.
you really never know. Um, but it's really nice because the hairs are natural. They snap to a very fine point. This one's slightly wet. That one's dry. But as soon as you wet the brush, it will go right to a point, and they hold so much liquid that it's ridiculous. Like, look at that.
Yep.
Um, they will. I've been able to do an entire piece without actually re-wetting my brush. Like that's how much liquid that they hold.
Yeah. 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 They hold a lot of water and it can drip. So they're meant for calligraphy, so they're meant to hold ink, which is a little bit heavier than watercolor, right? And so, um, for Chinese calligraphy, they want you to finish a full character, and sometimes you draw really large. So you want to finish a full character or more in one single brushstroke, right? In one fluid movement. And so these are engineered um, to hold that much extra fluid ink within them. The bad part about them, Dan, is what? What's a pitfall about these? Within days. Within days. Yeah, you'll pull out loose hairs. Oh yeah.
lose hairs like on a pretty regular basis. And it will be it will be terrible if you're doing a face or something, and then suddenly it just kind of like snakes across the face.
Yeah. Yeah.
So be careful with it. Moving along, paper. Staff, like I'm just gonna rattle off the papers we use.
Hmm.
Arches watercolor blocks, which I held up earlier and is right here. Tony and I swear by the hot press, but they come in all different grains. You have everything from
Roughness.
hot, cold, and rough,
Rough.
and each one has like a different tooth to it. Uh, they behave differently, and it's really to taste. We use hot
Hmm.
press because we also like to use ink, and we like to not have to kind of mess around with the surface a little bit more.
Hmm.
The way we work tends to be dry on wet or wet on dry.
Hmm.
So certain papers behave differently. Other paper that we kind of swear by that we're using a lot these days. I was showing Tony stuff earlier that I got to close. Uh, we mentioned these tone paper. I love this stuff. It's not really great for watercolor. It will buckle, but it's nice in the sense that you can put really nice ink, and you get you know it's really nice to do quick stuff where you can see black and white.
Yeah.
You get to play around with different values. It's nice.
What?
I love the gray, but they also have a tan version. They have now started making, this is Strathmore, by the way. They have now started making the tone blue stuff, which I love because it has a vellum surface and it's a much heavier weight paper. The nice thing about this is you can do watercolor on it. It will take watercolor media. It will sit on the surface though. It takes it a little while to dry. When it dries, it's great, but it takes it longer to dry than watercolor paper that's more absorbent. Um, let's see here. Tony and I swear by Arches, but Fabriano is another good manufacturer that we
Mm,
have not listed.
yeah.
And that's another paper that I'll probably swear by. Any of the others that are out there, I tend to have issues with. Um, all
Yeah.
of them will have an issue from time to time. Like sometimes Tony and I will remark, wow, the sizing on this paper is terrible. And
Uh,
that's where you get sort of like a weird resist effect.
yeah.
Um,
A
and
sizing
that's just
sizing
because
refers.
they use
Yeah.
too much glue
Yeah.
is essentially what it is. To make the paper, there's like a glue process, and if they put too much of it on there, the paper loses its absorbency initially, so it will have like a resist effect. It actually is anti watercolor. Um, let's see here.
Ooh, what,
Miscellaneous stuff. We talked about. I have a collapsible water bucket that I use at cons. Tony, you have one as well. The
yeah.
one that
So
I have is listed there.
what I use is a repurposed. Um, hold on, let me give a larger shot here. Uh, this is a silicone lunchbox that's collapsible. So it travels well. It's soft, so you can really squeeze it in there. But you can just open it up, and you have two different containers for dirty and clean water, or warm and cool water. And they have ones that have different number of compartments, so you can get larger ones. This is just my travel one. My other one I actually have next to me that's larger. Actually has more compartments to it, but it's sometimes you want to fill it with water and carry it around, and you don't want to spill it around everywhere. You just pop the cover back on, and you can see sometimes I've used the cover just to have some paint. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it gives you a low surface. Yeah,
Which is just a big
a
bucket
big
that has
bucket.
tons of water in it, and I never have to refill it. This one, I think I have to refill it maybe twice a day at a con. Um,
This also has a little section for your fork, and so
oh,
if you
that's
want, you can put like a travel brush in
eat.
there. Yeah,
Yeah,
but you can hide a travel brush in there, and then
yeah. Mine has little
you're
brush
good to go.
holders.
Yeah.
Yeah. Clear bags. Clear bags are the bags that we use at conventions. We just kind of, it has a little sticky part that you take off,
Hmm.
and then you can seal the bag. They come in every size imaginable.
Yeah.
You literally can just go to clearbags.com and explore the size that works for your paper. Just note whatever paper size you're trying to bag, make sure that you order it slightly larger because the sizes are incredibly precise.
Yes. They are.
um,
Yeah, if you get
uh,
something for 11 by 17, you want it like 11 and a
11
quarter
by
by 17 and a
17.4.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You want it just a
exactly.
little bit larger so you can slide it in.
Yeah. Let's see here. Scanner. Tony and I use the same scanner, which is the Epson Expression. I
Yeah.
think my model is one model shy of
Yeah.
Tony's. Tony, yours is like yours is one number higher than
Hmm.
mine.
Hmm.
But we swear by them. They are the greatest scanners out there. They
They
use optical scanner or
yeah.
optical versus. You know how with cameras you have optical versus digital zoom? It's the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
It's just the way that it captures is differently.
It's if
Uh,
you're going to be scanning in colored artwork, especially when it comes to watercolor, which things like phthalo blue sometimes confuse cheaper scanners. This will scan the entire color gamut so that you have those pixels and colors to modify or work with digitally. Um, the reason why ours the 12,000 XL expression by Epson, one of the reasons why we have that one is because it's also a really large scanning bed because some of the pieces that we
yeah,
work on are large. But they also have similar technology in smaller scanning beds that might be right for you depending on the size that you work at, or if you're willing to just scan in multiple chunks and piece it together digitally.
yeah.
But it's one of the best investments that saves me like a half hour per scan piece because I could just scan it in.
Cool.
I do like a couple minutes of tweaking and it's ready to go.
Um, Other stuff that we've listed: map boards.
Mm-hmm.
We've listed art storage folders
Mm-hmm.
and Clip Studio TabMate, which is that's the that plays around with Clip Studio Paint.
Yeah, yeah,
Is
yeah,
that
yeah.
right?
Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah.
I have it right here somewhere.
Yeah, I mean other things that we'll probably list on the next like we're going to add to this list on the next episode.
Yeah.
So just to note, this list is going to grow exponentially next episode. There'll be things like camera arms.
Yeah.
We're going to list everything from I'll probably even list the Wacom tablets that I use.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably list the flat file in particular.
Mm-hmm.
I highly recommend it. Flat files are something I swear by. I've actually gone through three over the years. I just keep upgrading.
Yeah.
I'm now at one that is so huge that it holds tons of paper. But it's really nice because you once you get to a certain productivity, you end up using paper all the time, and you need somewhere to put it flat as opposed to rolling things up. Um, I think that's kind of all the time we have for today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Um, if you have any questions or you have a few things that you think are really important and integral to your process or that you found very useful, please put a link in the comments below and everything else. But you can,
we'll check it out.
but
Yeah.
yeah, we'll check it out and see if we include it in sort of part two, which is the stuff that we actually try to use in paint with. This is my tab mate. I actually uh, spray painted it reddish orange. But it's useful if you're doing digital work because I don't have to keep a hand on my keyboard and keep trying to use my keyboard. I can just keep this off to the side and it has it has enough buttons to just kind of zoom in, choose different tools, and then have some shortcuts for a few things. So it's
Yep.
like a little Joy-Con controller from Nintendo, except for creativity. So
Cool.
yeah,
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yes, thank you so
Matt,
much.
I saw your note. Matt, thank you. I'll chat with Tony about that. We'll get it figured out. Um, hey Ron, how's it going? Sorry, we're ending the episode today, but we will. If anybody has any sort of questions, please leave a comment. Feel free to share this episode as well. We'll be trying to get a little bit more of a following on here over the next little while, just so we can hit a milestone that we're after.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. What one of the milestones we're gonna get? So if you help share it or like and follow and everything else, is to be able to do mobile streams on YouTube. Apparently, YouTube does not allow us to do mobile streaming uh, unless we hit a certain number of viewership and subscribers. So pass the word around. Sign up with all your accounts. And thank you very much for coming today.
yeah, appreciate it, guys. Thank you
All
much,
right.
and look forward to the next episode where we kind of pick up where we left off.
All right. Thank you. Take care, everyone.
Ciao.